Gentlemen, this is Danilo in our special class for student leaders this night, Tuesday, 7:30. Every 2 weeks, we have a special moment together. Welcome and thank you for being in here. Today, we have a special participant, an old participant, let's put it this way, but a special one, Livia. She has already participated in my
Hi.
first class. Please, Livia, introduce yourself for the ones who don't know you. Who are you? What do you do? Please.
Um, Thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here again. Uh, my name is Livia. I'm 28 years old, and I'm working with marketing. It's been six years, I think, 6 or 7 years. I work with marketing, content marketing, and since the beginning of this year, I'm starting to I started in a job in a global company, and English is more important than ever in my life, and I'm so glad to be here with my professor Danilo.
Thank you very much, Livia, one more time for being here, having your personal moment in which you could be anywhere else, and you're here with us sharing learning. Okay, thank you very much. Bless you for that. So let's start the game. Okay, Livia, Livia and everyone, I'm gonna share my page in here, and we're gonna start talking about how the class is gonna happen and the goals of this class. So, uh, today we will discuss and we'll try to answer two questions. What are cognitive biases? And this is an introduction. And how do they impact our lives? First of all, cognitive biases is a topic that is very wide. There are many things related to that. That's why I put an introduction to it. Okay? So let's see how the games will happen. Class conduction. I am a facilitator, and this is my point of view related to teaching. Teaching is well done when we are, as teachers, facilitators. Invite a student as main participant. Here we have Livia representing all of you who's watching. I think she's gonna ask the questions and comment. Many doubts, many things that there's a good chance you guys at home will have. If not, there is the chat for contextualized questions. So please, I'll ask you to ask your questions whenever you want to through the chat. All right, everyone. So thank you very much one more time. And to continue, let us see what we'll learn today. What you'll take home today. I know you're home already, but what are we going to learn today till the end of this class? Livia, would you please read the topics we are about to learn?
Okay. By the end of this class, you will have an introduction to the cognitive biases, learn about 5 cognitive biases that impact your lives, see techniques
Debias them.
to debias them, okay? Have lessons for leader students, learn lots of vocabulary and pronunciation.
Okay, so we focus on these topics, Livia, because we cannot forget, I cannot forget that I am an English teacher, and the top of my intention is to share English knowledge with you with an excuse of the topic we're seeing today, with an excuse, let's put it this way, of learning information related to today's topic, cognitive biases. Any questions in here, Olivia? Or anyone at home?
Everything, you're right.
All right, till this moment, everything is okay. So let's go. All right, Livia. So we have, first of all, the challenge. Okay. Beware, pay attention. This is a challenge. So, what's my challenge to you and everyone at home today?
And
If you can, try to use these expressions in any moment you talk. Okay. So, I'll give you time, Olivia, to read these expressions, maybe take some notes. And you guys at home too, read these expressions, these words, take notes so you whenever you think about what you're learning, whenever maybe you talk to somebody else who's beside you, or maybe a dog or a cat, just to practice, try to use these words, these expressions. So Olivia, please, what are the expressions we'll try to use today?
um, can I read everyone? Okay.
Please.
Foregone conclusion, conclusão precipitada. Pull strings, manipular. Raw deal, prender para um lado, tratamento injusto. See the light, mudar para melhor. E zero tolerance, tolerância zero.
Okay, Olivia, now I just have a challenge for you at this moment.
Okay.
Invent any sentence now. Put in at least one of these expressions. You can't be crazy. Don't worry about it. Let's go.
Um, you try to pull strings to me for make a sentence with these phrases.
But you won't do it because you're a tough woman. All right, Olivia. Thank you very much. So one more time, people. Foregone conclusion. Pull some strings. Raw deal. See the light. Zero tolerance. Let's try to use these expressions at home or whenever you think about the context we're seeing, okay? Livia, any question to this moment?
No, no. I never heard about the see the light in this context. I thought it was something about, oh, I have an idea or something like that.
See, this is why it's a great opportunity, right? For us to learn these new topics. And I tried to research for vocabulary which was related to the topic at hand. All right?
Nice.
So thank you very much, Livia and everyone. Let's keep on going a little bit more. And now, um, there's in here, Livia, a cartoon. Please, before we talk about specificities from this topic, what do you see in this cartoon? How can you read to me this cartoon?
I see a library with an old lady reading a book about planet Earth. Let me check. She's studying about the Earth, some subjects about cosmos and solar system. Um, I think she can be an engagement person about this kind of subject.
Do you think this person likes the topic related to flat Earth?
Yeah,
Is he or she a believer?
yeah, I think because she's studying a lot about the same
Yeah.
subject.
And then there's a sentence in here, Livia. Aha! I knew it.
She's trying to prove something. Maybe she's trying to find an argument or something like that.
To prove to whom?
Yeah,
To prove to herself,
yeah,
right?
to herself.
All right. So this is we are being a spoiler because I like to be a spoiler. I think many of us do like also. This is a bias called confirmation bias. We'll see some specificities of it in some minutes. Okay. All right. Moving on. Um, let's watch a video. All right, everyone, please pay attention to this video. Are you listening to the audio?
No, it's mute. It's mute for me.
It's mute. So, okay, let me see what's going on. Challenges. All right. Give me a second. Okay, I'll just try the last one, okay? Guys, in case you don't listen, I'll go through the next one, all right? Are you listening?
Yeah, but it's not loud enough.
Okay. You tell me if you can listen to the words, okay, Livia?
Okay.
1 second, I'm coming back in here, and there we go.
No, it's mute.
It's mute?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, guys, I'll move on. Okay, I don't know what happened in here. I'll move on. But this is a video. Probably you can take a look at it afterwards, called Blind Spots, Challenge Assumptions. This is a basic introduction to what is a cognitive bias. But thinking about this possibility of maybe having some challenges in here, I already have a plan B, which is this one. We're going to be introduced now, Livia, to what are the biases. So this is a resume of the basic idea of what is a bias, okay? Please read, Livia. Let's go.
Um, we are all biased. You suffer from cognitive bias. We all do. We all have biases. They are our brain's way of reducing the energy it takes to deal with the terabytes of information thrown at us every day. We connect the dots, fill the gaps with stuff we already think we know to then act as fast as we can.
As fast as we can. There's a probability of this vocab at this moment. Thrown, gaps, and fallible. Okay. Continue a little bit more in here, Livia. It's important.
Can you? Okay. Thank you.
Would you like me to come back?
No. It was better.
Yeah.
The
This
Zoom.
way.
Yeah. Thank you. It's important that we always accept that we make mistakes and are fallible humans. We can find ways to improve both individually and collectively the quality of our thinking and take better actions as a result.
So, Livia, in here, the resume of what is a cognitive bias is related to this part in here. So, our brain uses lots of energy for our daily activities, and it's overloaded, it's full of information. Yeah. And what happens? For the good of us, for the good of the functioning of the brain, it has to be fast. Yeah. So being fast is good for us to be alive, but whenever we think about something, Livia and everyone, not always we are fast when we want to think, right?
Yeah.
If we understand that thinking about a challenge, for example, thinking about a problem takes a little bit of time, and our brain wants to be fast, what happens? Some inconsistencies between this fast brain and this slow brain happens, and this is where the biases come. So it tricks, it cheats our brain to be faster. It's good, it's to keep us alive, but sometimes we don't see um, the problems in front of us. Livia, what did you understand about what is a bias or what are the biases?
Maybe are things that we can make on how can I say this, modo automático
And an automatic mode.
and automatic.
Automatic mode.
It's something like that. Or for example, when we are driving a car and we drive every day, and there's a way that you don't even need to think about. We just go ahead, and that's okay. But for example, if there is if you're stuck or there's a street that are blocked or something like that, you need to change the mindset. That's the idea.
That's the idea. And one of the key ways of us to overcome these biases that we're going to see today uh, is to acknowledge that they exist. So if you acknowledge that they exist, this can be a good start. But it's difficult to be experts because our brain wants to go fast. Yeah, wants to take shortcuts. This is natural. So, okay, guys, before we continue, just a reminder, this class is for you guys, done with lots of love, lots of studying. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. Participate. If you have questions or anything, write in the chat. In the chat, I'll try to put them in here for all of us. All right. Okay, Livia. Any questions in here so far? Anything that comes to your mind at this moment?
No, not for
All
now.
right. Thank you very much. Keep on going. Now we'll start our journey, Livia, okay, with the first bias, which is called confirmation bias. Let me change in here. Livia, let me hide this. Can you read well in here?
Okay.
All right, please.
The confirmation bias. Confirmation bias occurs when people actively seek out and favor information which confirms their opinion and disregard information which I'm sorry, which contradicted it. For example, when making a decision about a candidate for a role, someone might inadvertently look for information that supports his or her beliefs about the candidate and fail to see information that presents different ideas.
Okay, and here, Livia, read also, please, the vocabulary,
Okay.
the
Uh,
possible vocabulary, in fact.
Seek out, buscar, disregard, desprezar e fail, fracassar.
Okay. So, Livia, in here, there's also a cartoon. What do you see in this cartoon? You can read and tell me what you see, please.
The guy says, "Do you have any data that will fit my theory?" It's kind of a two scientists, and is it's the same idea that the other cartoon. They are trying to use data and scientific information, not because of the science, but because of a specific theory. So they want to prove something.
Yeah, they want to prove that they are right. Okay, and this is the idea of the confirmation bias. So, confirmation bias, Livia, in a few words, what is the confirmation bias? Please tell me. What do you understand of it?
I think it's when you try to pick up some information fast just to prove that you're going the right way. Is that?
Yes. Yeah. Why? Remember that our brain has the goal to think fast, to survive. So, what is easier, to confirm our beliefs or to think about possibilities?
Yeah.
Yeah. To confirm our belief is sure the best way to think, but not necessarily the right one. So, Livia, what I often hear um, is to all of the five biases we are seeing today, a technique called the bias technique, which means to try to reconstruct in our brain the bias, try to what to do uh, to help us not have these biases all the time in our lives. So, Viva, there's a short technique in here, which I'll ask you to read at this moment. Beware is like pay attention. All right. Livia, read
Okay.
confirmation biases.
Confirmation bias is dangerous, can be diminished by encouraging decision makers to take into account different points of view. For example, organizing a formal scenario planning exercise, expanding the range of hypotheses in a plan, or even a war game where decision makers pretend to be their competitors.
So, for us to try to um, debias the confirmation bias, what's the main point you think we have to try to do with more conscious? Vivia, please.
To don't fall in the biases you say you mean.
Yes, yes, to try to put it aside.
maybe
What do we have to do?
maybe stop and thinking about what we are doing. Another alternative is maybe change some habits that we have, or change some roads. For example, in the example of the car, if you change your way, it's an alternative to think about the way that you are going through.
Yeah. And accept one thing in here, which is also important, Olivia, is to try to listen with your heart opened to different points of view
Yeah.
that does not confirm your belief, but maybe help you see in a different way. In here, Livia, we also have three maybe new words for you guys. Read these words that we find in this short text.
Uh, Take into account, levar em consideração, rage, alcance, e pretend, fazer de conta.
Okay. All right, let's move on, Livia. But before that, do you have any question or anything in here?
No, no.
All right, guys, if you at home have any question, any comment to do, please write there and we can come back and discuss it, talk a little bit more. Okay, thank you very much for being in here. One more time. The second bias we are seeing today, Livia, is called the availability bias. A translation in Portuguese, I would say viés da disponibilidade. Livia, please read what is this bias about? Let's go.
Okay. We are more likely to notice things and spend more time thinking and talking about things that are related to what's recently been encountered. We seem to notice something more often once we've seen it the first time. Okay.
And Livia, please, you can ask,
Yeah, I have a vocabulary question. Can you come back?
please.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
What is encountered? Is incontáveis
Now, has had what's recently been encountered? To encounter is to find,
to find? Okay.
encontrar. Any
Okay.
other question,
No,
Livia?
that's it.
Guys, from home, if you have questions, please write in the chat, okay? Livia, thinking a little bit more about this availability bias. So the important point in here is that this bias is related to what we think, uh, related to the things we've been recently encountering, seeing. And we have in here a cartoon. What do you see in this cartoon? How do you read this cartoon? Livia,
Uh,
please.
a guy who is reading a newspaper about a airplane crash, and he is really scared about this because um, there's a 12 airplanes crashed, and he think that a plane is really really dangerous, but only because he saw some news like that sometimes. But if we think about this, 12 is nothing if we compare with the crash cars.
Yeah. One thing that comes to my mind now, Olivia, I don't know if you thought about what I'm gonna say, is related to the vaccine from AstraZeneca in Brazil.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. We see some news of maybe some people not feeling well or having some, including dangerous, serious problems with the vaccine, but we don't know if it's because of the vaccine. And what happens?
yeah.
As this is strong and it's recent in our mind, what do we think? We think the vaccine is not good. But, I mean, when we think, I'm not saying that I think about this, of course I don't, but it impacts us. But what do we have to think? We have to think about what you just said, the probability, the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Olivia, what we'll see in here, moving on, is a debias technique. So, how can we debias the availability bias? Read, please, here.
uh, Make someone else find the weaknesses in your idea that you are blind to. Do not commit to an idea without first writing down a minimum of three strong ideas. And can you hide the the text, the tag, and the Oh, thank you. When you are thinking about a solution to a problem, ask yourself what recent conversation or reading might be exerting disproportionate influence on your reasoning. And vocabulary,
Yes, please read.
weaknesses, pontos fracos, commit,
Commit.
commit, comprometer-se, exert, exercer, e reasoning, raciocínio.
So, in this debias technique in here, Livia, what is the main point for us to try to change our thought related to this availability bias? What's the words? What are the words that you could
Uh,
tell me?
it's explore another point of view. So share with anybody else your idea and understand what is the weaknesses of them. And thinking about the other side when you told about us about when you told us about the example of the vaccinated, um, we don't see the other numbers. For example, how many people don't die because of the vaccinated. So it's see the other side of the story with
Yeah,
another
see the other
perspective.
side of
Yeah.
see the other side of the story, check the numbers, the probabilities. Yeah. All right, Livia, thank you very much. Let's keep on going. Everyone at home, in case you have questions, just ask them out. The next one, Olivia, is called anchoring. Okay. Would you please read what is this bias?
Describes the common human tendency to really too heavily on the first
Rely,
piece. Okay,
to
to
rely.
to rely too heavily on the first piece of information offered, the anchor, when making decisions. The bias is the tendency to jump to conclusions and base your final judgment on information gained early on in the decision making process. Once you form an initial picture of a situation, it's hard to change your mind. For example, for example, in negotiation, the initial price offered by the seller of an article sets the standard for the rest of the negotiation.
Before we continue talking a little bit more, Olivia, there are two words, please read
Mhm.
them.
Really on, I would ask
Rely,
this. Rely on,
rely on.
confiar em, e judgment, julgamento.
Any other word in here you see, Livia, or you guys from home you would like to ask?
No.
All right. So in here, this bias takes into consideration the first information, the first fact, the first number that we receive in a given situation. This bias, the anchoring bias, is very common in negotiations. There was, I'll tell you a small story, Livia. Once, I think 5 years ago, I went with my wife to look for a new house, a new apartment, and we went to a place, beautiful apartment, uh, and we saw the apartment like as if it were real to us, beautiful, etc. And then I asked the price. The broker told us this one in here is on this floor is 700,000 reais. 5 years ago, 700,000 reais. So okay, impact. I almost had a heart attack. But he said, "Look, but," and then he said, "But there is one on the second floor, 500,000 reais. It's cheaper than this one because of blah 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 blah." Can you believe, Livia and everyone, that as he had said 700,000 before, which was the anchor, and we have in here Rafa usually asking what is the word anchor? Anchor is âncora, gancho. Né? As he had said the 700,000 number, when I heard the 500,000, what did I think, Livia? That it was cheap or expensive? What do you think?
It's cheap. I can know. Let me sign the papers.
Yes, that's what I thought. I thought that, man, this apartment, 500,000 reais, is cheap. Come on,
It's
we
the
know it's not.
same idea when you are in a fast food restaurant and there is something like, oh, if you can uh, buy a short ice cream or the medium size or the big size, and you check the prices and you say, oh, I can buy the the medium, and it's worth it more than the small one. And then you say, oh, but if I buy the biggest, it's better. And it doesn't make any sense because you just want the smaller.
Yeah, and you see that the company and many companies do that. Cars sales, house selling, the fast food restaurants, and this bias is very common when we think about numbers. But um, let's not forget when there's an anchor, when there's a first information, this first information we take into consideration when thinking about the other ones. And we see this many times in our daily lives. And you gave us a good example, Olivia. All right. Any other comment in here, Olivia? Any other thought, tale, jokes, anything?
If you don't want the biggest ice cream or whatever, don't buy it. Buy the smaller. It's a trick.
Yeah, it's a trick. It's a trick. But I always end up buying McFlurry. I don't know if you guys do. I see the milkshake, etc. It's more expensive, maybe the anchor, but I like the McFlurry. All right, let's keep on going. McDonald's is not giving me one McFlurry to talk about this in this live.
They should. They should.
Yeah, hopefully in the future. And Livia, we have in here a technique to the bias. This bias that we have just seen anchoring. Please, would you read? How can we help our brain?
Okay, delay your decision, slow your decision making process, and seek additional information. When negotiating over a car, it can be wise to take your time. Why not do the same? Well, why do not some online research prior to visiting the store? Certainly, don't go for the second model you see, but carefully compare all the different. I can see this word because my screen is in
One
front of the
second.
deals.
Now,
Well,
can
okay,
you?
the different deals. The story has. Can you zoom again?
Has to offer.
Has to
Has
offer.
to
Thank
offer.
you.
So, all right, in here we also have two new words: delay, maybe for you guys, delay, atrasar, and deals, negociações. So, any other word in here, Livia, that you see is new for you, or you believe it could be for the guys from home?
Um, I don't know. What is second model?
Second model.
Yeah.
Let me see the context very fast.
You certainly
Ah,
don't go for the second model you see.
uhum. Certamente não compre, não vá para o segundo modelo que você vê, mas
Uh,
compare todas as negociações, né, que a loja tem para te oferecer. So, the take home lesson in here, Livia, I would say, especially in whenever we buy big things, maybe a house, maybe a car, or a cell phone, compare, yeah, compare and take home. Of course, when we see this beautiful iPhone Max 10 extra top, whatever, we want to buy it at the moment. But we should all take home, think, compare prices, and ask yourself, do I really need that? Yeah, do I really need these things? And we have in here, Livia, one cartoon. How do you read this cartoon, please?
Okay, anchoring effect. A mug for $3,000 and a mug that was supposed to
300.
300, I'm sorry, 300,
Yeah.
and another one which supposed to be on the $1,000, and it's on a it's a sale for 300, and the people look at this product, this mug on the store, say, oh, it's for free, I wanna take this.
It was 1,000.
Yeah.
This is what I call discount. So because you see, there was an anchor, Livia. What was the anchor? The price of 1,000.
Hmm.
When you see the other price, and oh my goodness, this is free. I have to buy this. I'm gonna buy this. It's I have to buy this.
So you pull the
All right.
strings to an anchor, isn't it?
Yes, all right, Livia. Using the expressions, huh?
Yeah.
Good. Challenge accepted. Yes, it is. Thank you very much, Livia. Guys from home, if you have any question, please just ask. All right. Keep on moving to bias number 4. The bias number 4, Livia, is called the sunk cost fallacy. And as a free translation here, I wrote, including in the vocabulary, falácia do custo irrecuperável. Please, Livia, read about this fallacy. Fallacy is another word for bias, okay, guys?
Okay.
Please, Livia, read it.
The sunk cost effect is the general tendency for people to continue an endeavor or continue consuming or pursuing an option if they've invested time or money or some resources in it.
The possible vocab, Livia.
Um, Sunk cost fallacy, falácia do custo recuperável, endeavor, uma diligência, um empreendimento, pursuing, perseguindo, buscando.
So, Livia, what do you understand from this sunk cost fallacy? And I'll hook it up with this cartoon. What do you read in this cartoon? What do you understand about the sunk cost fallacy? Read to me the words from the cartoon.
Okay, the sunk cost fallacy. Let's get out of here. This is the worst move I've ever seen. I think I'd rather stick it out. This ticket cost me an arm and a leg. When you think that you buy something, you need to get the all the, how can I say this, aproveitamento.
The usefulness of it, the
Yeah,
usefulness, the
yeah,
utility.
yeah.
Or because you see, we attach, Livia, we attach emotions to it. Yeah. We say, look, I spent 10 reais. I know this movie is not good, but I'm not gonna go back home and tell my mother that I spent 10 reais in a bad movie.
I will
I'm gonna
not give
stick
up. I will not give up of my bad
what.
decision. Yeah.
And there's a good chance that if you go home and your mom in this situation asks you, how was the movie, huh? You say, Mom, the movie was awesome. I love the movie. The best movie I've ever seen. SKN, as we say in Portuguese, right? So this is the sunk cost fallacy. This is very powerful. I see in my context many times this. I don't know if you see this in your life, Livia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have questions, Livia, or any story to share with us, please speak. All right.
All
Do you
right.
have anything for now?
For now, no. I'm okay.
All right. Let's see how we can debias this. Livia, read.
Okay. Let go of personal attachments. Often, in an effort to avoid change and shame, we stick with our original decisions, even if we know they likely won't succeed. Letting go of anything that has taken up so much of your money and time is a difficult thing to do, especially if you have development large emotional attachment. What developed? Okay,
Developed.
developed a large emotional attachment. It is important to learn how to let go.
Yeah, emotional attachment. See, probably this word is new. Read these words, Livia, please.
Attachment, pertence, shame, vergonha, stick, grudar.
Let us not forget, guys, that I put a translation thinking about the context. So, what's the lesson that you take to try to debias this cognitive bias in here, Livia? What would you do to try to cut this from your
Let it
mind?
go. Let it go. Okay. I,
Let it.
I think that if you are thinking that, oh, I just spend a lot of money or time on this, you need to think about the most time or maybe money that you are still spending on this. So you still losing time, for example.
Yes. So, one thing which we're thinking about objects, but it can be anything related to emotions. I'll give uh, maybe an example in here. Let's think that you are married. You've been married for 10 years. Okay. Things are not going well, and you want to split. You want a divorce. But then you think, man, I've been 10 years with this person. I know the family. I know everybody. I
I would
know
need to
things are.
try everything again. Yeah.
What do you do?
Oh, no, I would not get a divorce. Yeah.
No, it's too much for me. So you see, but this, Livia, is your brain tricking you.
Yeah.
If you know things are not well, okay, of course, I'm not saying that you don't have to try. You have to try. But if you're trying too much for many times, maybe something is going on. Just an example. We do this many times, sometimes with cars. Yeah. People who have cars and they don't want to sell the car, even though the car is giving lots of trouble, just because you like the car. It's because it's your car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it moving then, Livia, for the next one. And the last one, it's called the halo effect.
Okay.
Livia, would you mind? Let me just change in here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I don't.
Is the tendency for an initial impression of a person to influence what we think of them overall, also known as the physical attractiveness stereotype, or the what is beautiful is good principle. We are either influenced by or use the halo to influence others almost every day. For example, thinking people who are good looking are also smarter, kinder, and funnier than less attractive people, believing that products marketed by attractive people are also more valuable.
Now, what comes to your mind when you see this bias, which is very common, Livia? How
I,
does this impact our lives?
I think we use this very much because we just see the way that people look like, and we just construct an idea about this personality. And isn't right every single time, but we can manipulate things sometimes. When you go to a job interview, You can choose your clothes, and if you do something right, you can make a good impression.
Yeah. Dress to impress,
Yeah.
right? So we know that this halo effect, which is an effect related, a bias related to first impressions, can impact our lives. So it can be, it's an instinct. It can be good, okay, but we've seen in our lives that sometimes it doesn't help. And Olivia, I'll ask you to read the bias technique. How can we debias this cognitive fallacy? Let's go.
Okay. Try to create two possibilities impressions of people when you first meet them. Whenever possible, get curious about the people you get to know, ask questions. Remember, people are complex. You can't define anyone by a single trait, no matter how noticeable that trait it is. The
Vocabulary, possibly the word trait,
trait,
traços,
yeah.
características. Any other word in here, Livia,
No, that's
that
okay.
you see as new? So, what lesson do you take from this cognitive bias for us to try to avoid this first impression that sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad? What can we do, Livia, please?
I think it's thinking about and remember that people are more than just they look like, and you can't just know well a person or a personality just looking the first time. People are so more complex than this.
Yeah. And getting really curious about the person, getting to know really, I there's something that I have with me, Olivia, that makes us all human, which is to try to learn about people in a way of learning a little bit more about their challenges, about their difficulties, about the family. Yeah, when we normally ask these questions, if done with real curiosity, we change the way we think. Many times for the better, but we change. We see the person in a different way. What do you think about this, Livia?
I think it's a good exercise. And, I think so much about what people think about me just looking at me at the first time. I'm very curious about this. Um, because yeah, and I think that I'm not only that thing that people say. People can make a good can have an information or idea that is right maybe, but I'm not only this. I'm so much more.
Yeah, you don't want to be a book judged by its cover,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
I
also
think
an
it's that
expression in
idea.
English.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be judged. Of course, it makes us happy when somebody tells us, "Oh, you this clothing is beautiful. You look beautiful today. You're nice." Okay, but there's much more than this. It pleases us, makes us happy for sure, but there's much more on the inside. As the saying goes, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder or the person who sees you, and it comes from inside. Real beauty. This is at least what I think.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree with you.
All right, an extra point for you just because you agreed. All right, Livia, thank you very much until this moment. And please, do you have any question, any reflection in here? Guys from home, do you have any question, any comments? Please do. All right. Guys, we're reaching an end to our class. And if there's any comment, any question in the chat, now it's time to do it. Either for me, either to comment to everyone else at home, please write your words in case you'd like to. Livia, going to an end to our class, we maybe have some lessons to take home, lessons for leaders, for us student leaders, English students. Would you please read these lessons that we could take home?
Okay. Seek multiply perspectives. One of the simplest and most effective ways to remove any bias from your decision making is to solicit the advice or feedback from others. Ideally, you should turn to those you trust, like family member, friend, business partner, or mentor.
Yes, Livia, you particularly, any lesson that you learned today you would like to share to every one of us? What do you take home today after seeing these five biases? And before you answer, Livia, I'm sorry to cut. There are, guys, just as a curiosity, hundreds, I said hundreds of cognitive biases studied. I tried to pick five, of course, that I found more useful and that maybe have more impact in our lives as people, as leaders, at home, at work, going to the mall to shop, in any context that we have in our lives. Livia, but to you, what do you take home?
I think is thinking more about the things that I do day by day, get a reflection about my habits or things that I do in a automatic mode. Um, Speaking with talking with other people about my ideas and understand what other people thinking about the same topic, because it can help me to think over, okay, how can I say this, over the box is the right in the right
Outside the
outside the
box.
box, thinking outside the box. So and see everything in another perspective. There is every time there is another perspective to see the data, the information, and I think that's a good lesson.
Yeah. And the more we are aware of these biases,
Yeah.
the more they impact our lives for in a positive way. This
Hmm.
is at least what I've seen. This is at least what I believe. All right, Livia. So, of course, I would like to thank you a lot for being today with me in here. So kind of you, okay? So kind of everyone who's watching and everyone, of course, who's gonna watch afterwards at home. Because I don't know if you know, Olivia, this class we're having now uh, is recorded, is being recorded.
Oh,
So, yes, you can tell a friend about this, and it's going to be on YouTube, recorded specially in my YouTube page, which is called English for Mindful Leaders. So, guys, tell everyone. My goal is to try to every 2 weeks have a special class, possibly with somebody who's a special invited, to share with you some knowledge about personal growth, which we all have to do every day, and of course, to practice a little bit of English on the way. Livia, we have in here um, some comments from Comments Up. What a great class. Thank you very much for keeping helping us with amazing content, everyone, every single class, A New Horizon. Thank you very much, Sup, for your kind words. And Livia, final considerations are about the next class. Because, I like spoilers. I don't know if you
oh,
do. Okay. So,
okay.
Olivia, spoiler for the next class. Would you please read?
Oh, it's a subject that I adore to talk about this. So I can guarantee that I will watch this in the next class.
Thank you.
Is
Thank you
the
very much.
imposter syndrome or incompetence? In our next special class on July 27th, we will talk and learn more about the imposter syndrome and how it impacts our lives daily. Be a better student and leader, be part of this class. Incredible.
Yes. So, imposter syndrome is a topic we'll talk in our next class. A very interesting topic related to uh, the psychological learning of the imposter syndrome, which is basically sometimes we get to a point in our lives that we have lots of success, we reach a certain position, and we say, "Am I? Do I? Is it for me? Am I the right person?" Well, I'm not be too much spoiler on this. Let's wait for the next class. Livia, one more time, thank you very much. God
Thank you
bless
for the
you.
invitation. Thank you for the
Yeah. Let me just unshare the word, the here, the screen. Thank you very much one more time. And guys from home, thank you very much. I'll see you next class. So put it in your agenda, the 27th of July, special class about the syndrome. Tell everyone, please subscribe to my page, give it a like. Bye bye, guys. Bye,
bye
Livia. Thank
bye. See
you.
you.
Have a good night.